know that Mary's not likely to be here today, so does anybody have any questions about her treasurer's report? Okay, consent agenda. So let's see, consent agenda has warrant. It has minutes from last month's meeting. Anybody have any questions about the warrant? The warrant has payments to Shaftesbury, Highland Hall, South Shire for a total of 18 students, and one payment to the village school, which reflects an adjusted amount based on what we talked about last meeting. Which I will remind you is that we had 116 and then 2 students left October 1st. And because they count as between them 0.8 ADM, I suggested that we, because it didn't seem right to just toss that out, which the agreement would have us do, because if they're not there on the 30th day, they don't count. But given the circumstances, it seemed appropriate. So I propose that we put in 0.8 ADM, 14.8, recalculate everything on that basis, and then in February we have the second census, and at that point they won't be counted, and so that will be halved to 0.4 by the end of the year. It will ultimately work out to 114.4. But we could short circuit that, I suppose, but I'm more inclined to just follow the process. So let's see, that determined the amount of the village school warrant. So it was reduced to 151,000 in order to adjust.
May I ask a clarifying question around that? Right? And you may not be able to answer, but I just want to throw it out there. The announcement that they moved was just a comment at a meeting.
Right.
Now, to get their residency in Bennington, they've had to prove that they live there. They don't have a lease, so it's taken a while. The landlord is not there, so to get an affidavit from them that had to be notarized and everything like that. So they're not gonna, they still haven't proven that they live in North Bennington. So I just
no, they haven't proven
in Bennington. I'm sorry, in Bennington. So I'm just questioning that if you they can just say they've left and that counts, but they have to prove they're living in the other one.
It's a very
piece that I'm a little
asymmetrical calculation.
And
I did not understand
the piece I struggled that we still have them.
Yes.
So she finally has her landlord and finally gave the landlord back, and was able to give the thing to them today. So hopefully we'll have the affidavit. But
yes. All right.
But I'm just curious how that works.
It's ridiculous. It's absurd. And the problem is that they are not going to pay the special estimates.
And that I knew right from the get-go, but the residency thing is just frustrating me in that she's had to prove to them that she lives there, but they took a passing comment in a meeting as the date of
White. Right.
But she didn't have to prove to them that she no longer was living there.
I shouldn't ask this. I'll ask you the property. But at any rate, what's done is done. Let's take it back. I've written 2 letters with lots of argument. Admitting, agreeing that if they live there, then they can live there. But arguing that if you consider under another status, maybe we could just keep them here and everybody, B, you get paid, BSD would not have a problem because they wouldn't have to provide the special ed services. So, anyway.
So that may probably be coming through.
Anyway, yeah, so that was the adjustment in the amount paid, which is to bring it back to this position we're ultimately arrived at the end of the year. And then there's payment for this laptop. Thank you very much. Not that I know much about it yet. Amanda set it up so that I can do the Wi-Fi here. She adjusted the sensitivity of the touchpad because it was doing crazy things. I didn't know you could do that, but now I'm not sure I can do it. And also reimbursements for travel. You got yours, right?
I did.
Yes. While members of this board were going to various state board meetings to see what they were doing with David Long. The climax of David Long, Act 26. Okay, so I'll entertain motion to approve that consent agenda.
So moved.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, okay. We don't actually need a second for it, but that's fine. Under our loose rules, we could get away with not even having a motion, really almost. But thank you, because it at least punctuates the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? I'm in favor too, so that's all of us. Policies. There are two policies, one to warn, which is policy number 5600, student freedom of expression in school-sponsored media. And so let's do that one first, because that's definitely not controversial. Is it?
It just references statute.
Yeah, and it seems like a good statute.
Yeah.
And I would make a motion to warn
Policy
policy
5600.
5600.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Second policy is policy 7100, board member education. Sent back for adoption with a couple of word changes.
Just one, actually.
Well, one change from the last one.
Yeah.
Two changes from the original. So I'm okay with this.
And there you have, how did it land and how did you get happy with it? Okay.
Yeah.
And it was received well at the,
There was a lot of argument about it, but it's not a required policy, it's not even a recommended policy, it's just a suggestion. And that's basically what it is. So you can't make it any more than that. I think people would like to, but they're gonna have to change statute, not policy.
Right. And that was my whole,
Yes,
it was here.
it was, yeah.
Okay.
well,
It was fun.
you know, I would have enjoyed being here. I wasn't.
I will make a motion to adopt board member education policy number 7100 with the significant change in line 10 referring to individual board members can instead of will,
Line 10 and 13.
and 13.
I'll second it. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Superintendent's report. Not here. So, chair's report. I just have taken to just putting these items in the report theoretically, I'm reporting this, but basically it's for all of us to talk about. So, I don't think there's much I can say about the Board of Education plan. There are a lot of unhappy districts. Because this was the plan basically to deal with the Section 9 proposals that districts provided. And they did not accept many of those proposals. However, they accepted the proposal of Calmo, basically in the SDSU. Calmo said, well, we'd really like to be just stay independent, or we would accept a union elementary district of the operating school districts. So they, of course, knew they weren't going to get their real preference. We got the union elementary district, and now I received today was a notice of their formation meeting where they elect the interim board and officers, and that's January 15th. I could be wrong with that. So I guess we could all go watch. Yeah. We can all go watch if we want and see what happens. The timeline is tight because they want this state, Board of Ed wants this operating at July 1st of 2019. So there is this portion right now through that meeting is critical because if they want to revise the articles of incorporation that were the default articles that were slapped on this in order to revise the representation of various, of different towns on the board, they're going to have to do it now. Because thereafter it's not going to be subject to towns individually voting on it. It will be a commingled vote. At this point, those who are trying to form this board and form this district will want all the districts to buy into the representation system. So they're willing, there would be some interest in compromise there. And going, I think everybody's agreed that they'd rather have the default of the articles that were proposed for the original plan was put forth, which had different representation. They decreased the representation of smaller couples of Woodford, give Bennington one more to more nearly parallel the numbers of residents in the towns. I think that's the only thing that's really going to be discussed. And then once that interim board is formed, I guess they're going to have a budget that's for education that is determined by this process of developing the budget that's going on right now, which that budget is for the SDSU, but the individual districts will be working on budget. And I guess those budgets, I don't know this, I'm just hypothesizing. So those individual budgets for districts are going to fold into the whole total district budget for the union. I'm not sure about that, but I would think that's the way it's going to work because, you know, the special ed part of this is going to be set in stone with the SDSU budget. And the administrative part will be too. That leaves us conspicuously outside. of this process. That segues into our budget process, which I don't see any real difference from previous years, or particularly last year. We could solicit information from the other independent schools and from Shaftesbury about the numbers. We can talk to the village school and have them give us the presentation, and we can negotiate with them in executive session about what we're going to come up with and where we stand. The other parts of that budget that, are pretty much dependent on what tuition looks like and what kind of tax, what's our limit on this budget. Because the only other things that we really have much control over are the contingency that we plug in and the amount of money that we put into the maintenance for this building. And the few small discretionary items in our budget for consultants, legal fees, and things like that have been static for a number of years. The treasurer may want a little bit more money, I'm not sure. We have to ask her. And that's
Might we be able to get together with you all?
We were doing it in January last year.
Yeah.
We ended up waiting until you guys
We were trying to
you needed to get some numbers
from the state.
from the state.
Strangely enough, by now, we usually hear more rumblings about that. I don't think we've heard our name.
I think with all the,
I think there's going to be some confusion.
it's taking a while to figure that out.
Yeah.
And the special ed piece, if that all goes forward, that gets approved completely, when is that supposed to, it's supposed to take it back next year or the year after? The special ed based on per capita.
Oh, right. It's a rolling, as I recall, pieces of it, it's over time, and the completion is like 3 years out. I'd have to look at the number of the dates. I don't know. Have you haven't been talking about that with the director?
Now, I have a conference call on Monday with a number of the other, with Fern Burton, Tim Johnsbury, a bunch of lawyers and stuff like that.
Because it usually affects all of them. Moreover, it affects solely public schools as well. So, I personally think it's going to be a complete disaster as it finally comes to the grinding halt it's proposing. Yep.
Well, it should probably, obviously we want to try to do this in earlier January than later. Lori, when our budget's finalized in late in the...
Yeah, I don't want this at Jimmy. I want it before I usually hit it. Which is prior to January 20th something. But a little earlier would be a little easier.
Or getting warning.
Just all that stuff done, yeah. Because we've been at towards the 27th, 28th, and that's getting a little bit late.
But I recall it's really all still contingent kind of on state information.
Yeah, that's what you
Yes,
did before, I think.
That's what we ended up
So,
doing before last year.
I get that you were waiting for.
Yeah.
So when would our vote be this year?
So, I don't have a calendar out, but March, or I could get one out. Is it the 5th? I don't know.
Tuesday is the 5th.
That's when this is.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's one
Oh,
of
that's
those.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so our actual core meeting would be the Saturday before that, which would have to be. that would
To
be
March 2nd?
Second. Okay, so, see, the warning has to be 30, minimum of 30 and maximum of 45, or something like that is. I forget.
No, that's correct.
So, 30 back from the second would be
How many days of February?
as 28,
28.
right?
Well, I don't know, is it 29 or 28 this year?
No,
Or next year.
it's an odd number, so it's not here, so it's 28. And 2, so that's 30. So they, probably January 31st is dropped in. So we got a lot of time there, but you don't have so much time because you
No, I don't.
get the ballot.
Right,
You
it
gotta
takes
get the
longer to
paper.
get ballots and stuff, so. Permanent, because it goes to Boston and all that.
So I guess we're shooting for that last week of January, at the earlier the better, to have the warning to give you.
I'll be out of
Okay.
town. 6th.
Okay.
23rd.
Yep, so, and Lori, you would be working with the early education director, those numbers from Virginia. That's pretty much it. We have a pretty simple budget. Just, we depend on information from Chuck and And the other thing we will depend on is what this budget looks like in terms of its impact. And it's, if any of you have looked at you looked at the stuff on Drive? Did you look
I
at
didn't
it?
get a chance. Sorry.
Which stuff were we doing?
The budget meeting that we're on.
Here it is right here. So minutes of this is here. This is bad. So there are minutes here about the budget meeting. And then there are some sheets of total expenditures. And there's a description.
Those came from Richard, right?
The minutes are by Richard. The budget sheets go from the finance office. The attachment B, SDSU notes of FY20 are good. They're bullet pointed. And so it's reasonably clear, although I don't understand everything. And what did they say about the total? I thought I had a figure for the, maybe there is no figure for the total increase. Oh, well, 5%. I think that'll get whittled down. And I don't know how it will impact us because a lot of this is not our expensive. But that's why I have to go to these meetings.
I apologize.
I'm sure it wasn't that interesting the first time. It was just presentation of these numbers.
Where did you get that
Correction.
chart though? That's what,
No, I
It's
can't
in-
find it either.
it wasn't in the minutes. Embedded in the
maybe I
minutes.
uploaded it. I just found it in the drive when I went there. Because I think they must have sent me
There it is.
notice.
11/28. Draft. Four drafts.
Yep. And then we will have a meeting on December 20th. There will be another budget meeting. I don't know what else will be on that. We'll do both the SDSU meeting and the budget meeting consecutively, I guess, just like it's done in this meeting on the 28th. So, I would suggest you look this up and ask me questions, so I know what needs to be answered. And I will have to put an inquiry into Renee about whether she has any idea what this is. Well, she probably doesn't. Yeah, I should wait. Find out how it impacts this district first. And I will email Highland Hall and South Shire about what they think their student council will be. If we just plug in the accounts they have presently. And I guess Jasper do the same.
Worth noting that the largest budget total expenditure increase proposed is administration, 19% increase in cost. That's far the largest. Oh, sorry, technology services is 20%.
Which better you looking at?
This is from this. It's in archive meeting. SDSU archive meeting. So go to, yeah, you're in information. Go back to, we're still in MHS, so we're talking SDSU.
Right here, the website.
Yeah.
Would you say 20%? Technology 20%. Yes.
So we're doing this currently.
I went to archive.
Administration 18,
19.
almost 19.
But budget committee meeting.
So,
Second draft.
has everybody got this on page now? Here, you can see
What
it.
is counseling? Just out of curiosity.
I assume that's, well, you know, I don't know, because it's got psychology, that below. Right. I think counseling would be, you know, like,
We budgeted zero for next year.
that's because it's going into psychology.
Yeah, we're just probably moving some stuff
Just
around.
moving it around.
In 16, it was,
But then why bring it back up again for next year?
actual 18 was like
Oh,
zero.
we don't
Then
know.
they budget 7,500, and they budget 550. Without question.
There it is.
So, the question I have about this, if you look at this stuff, this is, do you think, are there questions you think that are not being answered here or could be raised if we had more, different information that I should suggest? Because I think this, here's my feeling about it. It's a little like what's happening with the consolidation of these districts. You transfer from 4 different polities that control through their votes and elections the actions of 4 boards to one larger polity that controls through its votes 1 board. And that board is not going to see the level of detail that we used to see. And
By design.
And, you know, before, I think the strategy was to overwhelm people with the information so they wouldn't object. Now I think it's to make it so high level that it's hard to break into it and figure out and ask questions about what's going on at the actual service level.
To make it look very simple, there's, 20 line items.
I think it was a good idea, but I think there's maybe more transparency to be had out of this than what we did get. That's my feeling. So that's why I'm asking you, if you think there are things that would make a difference to you in understanding this, let me know. So I'll have to bring it up.
When's your next meeting?
The 20th.
Next week.
All right, so I would recommend you look at that. I don't think us trying to paw through it right now is worth the time. But I would appreciate comments. You're all smart people, so tell me what you see that you think is not sufficient information.
Well, they want to know why the technology services are going up 20 and tech admin is going down.
Yeah,
Yeah, the digital
11.
thing.
so that's more of a detail.
And what impact, I get it, but what impact does that have on our assessment?
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah,
pay-
well, that is for us, that's always going to be the primary question. And I will,
Do we pay more for tech admin or for tech services?
we don't do paid tech services.
Right. So we
We
should
pay
be
a
seeing a
share
reduction in our
at-
assessment from admin.
And there's something on the first earlier page, the descriptive stuff, the bullet points about, this, we've been investing in this infinite campus system for years. And when we first undertook that, I told the then finance guy, CFO, that given the cost, I surely hope that we could persuade the state to use this and not force us to changing it. But here we are, we're changing, we have to change, because the state decided on something else. This infinite campus is used by a preponderance of districts in the state.
And
But
it's
they
no
chose
longer-
something else.
Oh, they did?
Yes. Why? I have no idea.
Infinite campus software is pretty awful, actually.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's bad. There's gotta be a better solution.
Well, hopefully the state has one, but it's gonna cost us.
It's worth noting that fiscal year 16 administration was $547,640, and 2020 is $820,775.
That's what I was saying, that's the 18.5%.
What's going on there? What are all these people doing?
Well, that's what I mean. That is exactly the kind of question I think is important, because you don't know who they are from this budget. And do we have a chart of the organization that shows how many positions we have, at least, filled in maybe at the top levels? I don't think you would want to fill in all the teachers and people working in buildings, but administrators and up, you would. And I have asked about this, it's been asked about by other people over time, and we keep getting half measures, and we don't even have that at the moment. Although I'm told it's in the works, but I'm always told. It's always in process. I think that would be useful. at least to show the whole structure. Of course, you know, we don't have paper big enough.
Mighty big chunk of
Mighty big what?
money. That's a mighty big chunk of money.
It is. I
I
agree with
sort
it.
of wonder if some of these people disappeared.
Okay, so that question is the same one I have, so I can remember that, and I can remember the increases in administration and technology administration because they concern us directly. If you've got any other comments to make, I appreciate hearing that. That, I guess, I'll go back to.
Where did you get, going back a few, basically, where did you get the meeting notification for the removal? That one?
It was emailed today
Just email.
from,
Can you forward?
from Karen.
So I didn't get that.
It was to BSD board members, PAL board members, chefs board, SVSU board, at the thing.
And then
So
did you
we're
get,
not,
Right, well, it's
I got
on
it.
us. You got it and I got it because we're SVSU board member.
okay.
I'll send it to you.
I'll send it to you.
Or Matt. Okay. Let's move on. Facility, I don't think there's much point in talking about that other than the kind of things we have to sort of fix right now, which is the control system on the boiler. We're going to get that updated.
Was there some negligence? Was that a report from a year ago that never was addressed or that we never saw or?
I never saw a report last year. Jamie told me about it. I thought I told him to get it fixed, but I thought.
But this, this report.
These are fail safes beyond the actual.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Never mind.
They're redundancies.
do you wanna,
What was the name of the,
It's Liberty Mutual,
who sent that out? This isn't the control tech one.
Renee.
It's like, oh,
yeah, okay, yeah.
Right. So, you know, we have to get that taken care of. And,
Am I right though that switch, I think the switch we'd already.
I don't know about that switch.
Because we have the one outside the,
The inspector was here though.
I know, so I thought, I could have sworn because he walked me, I could have sworn he said that's all set. But then I saw them in the report, so I don't know, so I asked him to follow up.
Okay, well, Megawatts can probably help us figure that out. They probably know it's work.
I guess.
Okay.
I just, okay, did visit November 30th, all right.
So what is the signature recap did that was?
So it can't be copied.
What's that?
Secretary has signatures.
It has nothing to do with someone's feelings.
So are we done?
Yeah, well, that's the, I mean, the boiler is the control and the back, and the backup shut-offs.
And you are negotiating a solution to the heating system.
The control
It's
is
pretty simple.
well, I don't know, I hope we're going to talk to control that next week.
Feels good.
lot when we had conferences this week, early.
At the wrong time, we just not, yeah.
It's been very cool in the building all week in the evening for conferences. Tonight's kind of nice.
Well, you're on the
Even
third
building.
floor, the third floor is.
Oh,
everybody
true,
wants.
that's true, that's true. It's been very cold in my room all week. But I didn't say anything because I'm used to getting used to it, but
Well,
it's like a certain time of day, you know, it's
that just means the boilers are not on. And if the distribution is not working properly because the controls, controls don't. So I don't really know, so, the software was messed with in certain ways. It created a situation where it's not controlling the valves properly. In fact, it probably went back to a situation in which the valves, some of which are push valves, some of which are pull valves, they were doing the opposite. The control system was doing the opposite of what it should be.
But I hope we can see a resolution to this.
Yes.
I contract in to get the upgrade, and then the service contractor is still going to try and negotiate a little bit.
Well,
Because of the-
I don't think you actually need the service contract. I think you need this upgrade. And, I think, they've got to supply what they should have supplied in the first place. See,
Right. Maybe we'll see.
so. I don't know, what's the difference? There's one other.
finalized tuition agreement. Yes,
Oh, yeah, okay, so I think, I don't remember if we voted on that last one. So if we could vote on that, and then Tim and I can write now there has to be a little addendum that is the actual numbers to go into the agreement. And we can write that out, both of us. So,
So I make a motion to approve the tuition agreement. Is that what we're doing?
approve the 114,880 for the October census.
114.4.
114.8,
Wait,
and then it'll work out to 0.4 because of the leveling, the average.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Everybody understands it? Call the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And, well, there's another, I don't know if there's any other typical stuff. I don't think we have any reason for an executive session.
So I'll make a motion to adjourn. At 7:14.
Eric?
My hope would be that we can meet that week of the, I have my board meeting the 17th. The following week, that would give you another week after that.
17th of.
The 17th of January, and then I could hopefully have my final numbers for mine. And then the following week, we can meet,
I may miss that.
the week of the 20th, 21st.
I could make through the 22nd.
But, we should be talking prior to that.
Oh, yeah. I think we should have some meetings about projected numbers. I think we want to bring to the table what we are looking at in terms of our contingencies, and our fund balance, and all those things. 'Cause I don't really know where we're at.
Yes, we don't know our fund balance. So there's a audit that's got to be, I don't know bid status is being finished up, I guess. And then the numbers from the SBSU budget, the assessment mess. And then we have, equalized pupil numbers from the state, what a dollar is going to buy you in terms of money, the ed fund, a dollar taxation. All that stuff has to be done before we
Yeah.
actually figure a budget. As you recall, I
What's your
spent
thought?
hours last year working on it.
Any projections for next year?
So, as far as our number of kids or something like that,
Yeah, I remember kids.
I would suspect we will go up a little bit, because we'd be graduating out
Small classes, yeah.
Well, a class of 17, and we might be getting 19 or 20. Again.
Right.
So, project a small increase, but that's what we're looking at.
So maybe 116 or 117. It's based on what we're at.
And we just added a student the other day, so our February